You know, they always say, don't they, that you'll never forget, of course, meeting a member of the British monarchy, our wonderful royal family, and in particular, our late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Everybody who'd ever met her, who I've interviewed, has said it was a magical moment, particularly if you're in the showbiz fraternity. It's just one of those things, you know, it can do a lot for your career, because simply everybody sees you pictured with the monarch, and that gets beamed around the world, and people then look into who you are. Of course, way back when our Queen came to the throne, things were slightly different. People were more deferential, but as her reign moved on, well, she had to contend with quite a few things. In fact, someone like this. That's right, this particular lady. But the story I'm about to tell you will at least make you smile. As ever, let me explain. Lovely to see you today. Thank you so much as ever for your time. Let me tell you about the rock star and this lady. This lady is Jeanette Charles. She was for a long period the #1 lookalike and sound-alike for our late and wonderful monarch. I worked with her many years ago on a Channel 4 show called The Big Breakfast, and it was eerie just as to how much she looked like the monarch. I mean, you could understand it, you know. Now, my good friend Joan Rivers basically told me that she employed Jeanette to appear at her London concerts. She would sit her up in the royal box to try and get people to believe that the real monarch had actually come along to watch the Joan Rivers show. And apparently lots of people, particularly Americans, who didn't get quite close enough to her. But the bottom line is, if you're way at the back, she told me, Joan, that lots of her American friends truly thought the Queen was actually sat in watching a Joan Rivers show. But the best story I can tell you about Jeanette Charles, who had a wonderful, illustrious career, appearing in so many movies, so many TV series, like, of course, Naked Gun, Saturday Night Live, and all sorts of manner of things. The one thing she did turn down, by the way, I must tell you, was appearing alongside the alleged comedian Sacha Baron Cohen as this character of Ali G. She said he wanted her to do something very distasteful, and she would never ever do anything to embarrass or disrespect the monarch. She was a huge royalist, literally loved the Queen, naturally gave her her living, but as she said, you know, she was kind of like amazed at the fact that just how popular the Queen was around the world and how many people actually believed they were meeting the real Queen, even when she was just dressed as her in character. But the rock star, Alice Cooper, told me this story, and I wanted to share it with you because it's just such fun. Apparently he was on a concert, and at the end of the concert they were going to give him a gold disc for sales of his latest album. Now, as you know, Alice shot to fame singing tracks like School's Out, Poison and so many more. For me, he will always be remembered as starring alongside in one of her last films, the legendary Hollywood star Mae West. But apparently at the end of the concert, what happened was Alice thought the Queen had come on to present him with the gold disc. Obviously he'd never met the Queen before, and he truly thought this was Her Majesty the Queen, literally on stage in front of him. So he got down on one knee and was very, you know, it's marvellous to meet you. Apparently he was absolutely beside himself, and as Alice told me afterwards, he just, even when they said no, what he just believed it in the moment, you know, he actually believed that this was, of course, our wonderful Queen presenting him with a gold disc live on stage in front of fans. That's how good Jeanette Charles was. Sadly, she left us at the ripe old age of 96 only a couple of days ago. I wanted to share that with you because she was a lovely lady, as I say, incredibly respectful of our late monarch, and more importantly, just an all-round nice person. I did ask her, did you ever meet the Queen? You know, what was that like? And she said no. The story goes that, you know, what happened was she was actually dressed as the monarch doing a photo shoot, and the royal car came past, and apparently their eyes locked for a brief moment. As the Queen was waving, apparently she stopped mid-wave. That was the closest that Jeanette Charles got to actually meeting our wonderful late monarch. And I said, would you have liked to? And she said, of course, who wouldn't? But really, she said, I'm not quite sure exactly how Queen Elizabeth would have felt. Probably a bit like Alice Cooper, do you think? As ever, let me know. And if you like, comment, like and share. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.